I am so excited about the limited series podcast that released last week. If you have not listened, go check it out. How to Find Clients, Tips for Coaches and Entrepreneurs. And so this week I thought I would bring a special guest on the show. He's revisiting the show to talk about what a limited series podcast is and how it could potentially be an amazing way to bring clients into your world. And I think you're going to love the value that my special guest and I bring this week on the show. Before we dive into this week's episode and talk about limited series podcasts and the value they bring, I'm just so excited to share that my limited series podcast, How to Find Clients, Tips for Coaches and Entrepreneurs, is live for you. It's actually been out for 1 week, and you guys, it is climbing the charts. The downloads are happening. And what's really cool is I'm getting so many screenshots and so much feedback from those of you that are already listened to this very bingeable series. It's limited, which means there's only 21 episodes, and the 21 episodes are built to help you create and understand the specific strategy that you need right now to help get clients. So if you feel frustrated because you're putting yourself out there and it's crickets, you feel like you're going to have to do all these crazy things to get clients, and you want simple things like just consistency, no more roller coaster. You want to feel authentic in your work and you want to serve people, then this episode is most definitely for you. So you can visit the show notes, grab a quick link to it, or just go to any podcast player and search How to Find Clients, and you will see the new limited series podcast that I am just so pumped to be able to deliver you. Welcome, everyone, to the Best Damn Coach podcast. I am bringing back a favorite guest. The amazing Adam from Podcasting Business School is here. He's been on my show, I think maybe twice in different ways, but I invited him back for a very a high strategy reason today. So I'm so pumped that you're here.
I am very excited to be here with the best damn coach, Amanda Walker, and the best damn audience in podcasting. I'm always excited to collaborate. And when you put out the invitation, when you put the Adam signal in the air, I just come right now.
It's like the bat signal, except it's like a podcasting mic with a dollar sign or something. I don't know what it would be, but yeah, I think it'd be something.
It's probably like a backwards hat on it somewhere. I don't know.
Perfect. I love it. Yeah, we were chit-chatting as we do. It's been really cool since we've been in each other's world. Like when there's nuggets that we can see for each other, connections, it's just very synergistic because we share a very similar audience. So it's great for collaborations to really take care of your people, I think, over the long haul. And you planted a seed for me a long time ago around this kind of notion of, I'd heard lots of terms like limited series podcast, private podcast. I've even heard sneaky podcast, which I don't really like that name. That's not from you, by the way, but other people. And so we are gonna dive into that eventually. But I want to riff a little bit around what we were talking about before we went even live. Can we talk to like the focus of your business right now? And I feel like we're both on the same page, but can you just speak to what's working for you right now from complexity to where you are now?
So for me, this is the year of less but better. I am just editing my life and my business strategy with like, not what should I add? It's like, what should I get rid of? Like, what can I get rid of next? Instead of what new thing can I build? Like, how do I thin out the herd here? And simple solutions, speed to simple solutions. That's what I'm focusing on. And I'm obsessed with really three things. I'm obsessed with my podcast. I'm obsessed with my newsletter and growing my email list via my newsletter. And I'm obsessed with the Threads online platform. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm just preaching out there going, listen, you don't have to be in all the places and doing all the things because that tends to spread you thin. And like people freaked out when I was like, hey, I'm not going to do video podcasting anymore because it takes way too much time and there's no ROI on YouTube for me other than angry teenagers yelling at me and making comments.
It's true.
I'm like, are you friends with my son? I know you're son.
Oh, that's so funny. Okay, so I love it. So what I hear you saying is simple, which is great. Like our motto last year was same but better, and we've continued that now. And we're really looking at that optimize, which is got to do less to really optimize more as well. But I realize for people who haven't heard you, maybe this is the first time that you've ever listened to the Best Damn Coach podcast and you're like, who's this guy? Will you give a little bit of background of who you are and what you do, so that people know who you are and why you have the street cred enough to show up and talk about what you're going to talk about today?
Yeah. So name, Adam Schaeuble, host of Podcasting Business School. And I've been a podcaster since 2015, launched my first show in the health space, really struggled to do anything with that for 3 years, but for some reason I kept going. I eventually figured out that I could make more meaningful income with selling my own programs, products, and services versus chasing sponsorships, that's a major like podcasting diversion point for me of like, oh, I'm doing something different. So I focused on that, forgot about sponsorship stuff, learned how to monetize by creating memberships, doing coaching, consulting programs, things like that. Then I started teaching other podcasters how to do what I was doing with my health show. Eventually sold that entire health brand and created Podcasting Business School, where the focus is teaching podcasters simple strategies about how to grow their online business and get more clients by leveraging their show and their audio content. So that's where I'm at in the space. We're over 1 million downloads and cranking over 1,000 podcasts under my belt so far, and
Look at you.
Still going.
I love it. Consistency. You always talk about superpower. The superpower of podcasting is consistency, right? Just showing up every week. I think that's one of my superpowers too, between my newsletter and podcasting. So it's really cool. And here's something I appreciate about you. Appreciate this about myself, but it's nice to be mirrored in somebody else when you can see the success that you just shared in podcasting. And you're not Joe Rogan. You're not Jenna Kutcher. You're not people who've already established, maybe, I don't want to say celebrity. I mean, yes, for Joe Rogan for sure, but I don't know about Jenna Kutcher. I think she made her big break in the Pinterest world. But those are people who already had a large audience and then turned to a podcast as a way to leverage their authority. And you're different, right? Podcasting is a way you stepped into your authority more, and you don't have millions of followers. You have a very solid core audience, and you deliver tremendous value. And it's just a testament that that's all you need. You don't have to have a massive following or thousands of downloads even per episode to do deep work and make huge impact.
Yeah. A lot of podcasters get into the game with big dreams of underwear sponsorships and being the next Joe Rogan and all this stuff. You know, spoiler alert, Athletic Greens and MeUndies probably ain't going to come calling super early on, you know.
For the 2 cents you make every time somebody actually clicks the link.
Yeah, legit. My first 3 years, I made $37 from Mushroom Coffee affiliates, and over 3 years, that they ain't paying the bills.
Nope.
But I'm from Indiana, but I've done the math. You know, I can do that math. $37 not paying the bills. But I label myself as a 000 podcaster. I started with no social media following, no email list, and no downloads, obviously. And most podcasters do start that way, so you can't, compare yourself to the people that start off, even with 1,000 Instagram followers. It's a totally different ball game. Like, they have a built-in audience. And if you are in that 000 situation, you have to have a different pace, different levels of expectations, and you have to be willing to kind of grind it out like I did a little bit. And the whole point of my show is to speed all that up for everybody. So plug into my world and I'll help you get there a little bit faster than I did.
Yeah, it's so true. And that's it. Like, we both started from ground zero. No audience, no email list, no clients, by the way. We didn't decide to be entrepreneurs and clients mysteriously landed in our roster the next day. We actually had to start from at ground zero. And sometimes I think that's forgotten, and that is exactly our goal, why we're coming together today. But why we come together and do the work we do is we want to collapse the timeline for the people that we serve so that they can get there faster and learn from our mistakes, follow our formulas, and know that there is a method that can be successful if you choose to accept the mission and follow through on it. Yeah. So I love kind of the start of our discussion because the focus is on simplicity. And that's really what drove me to want to have this conversation with you, but to decide to release a limited series podcast. Here's what I've learned in my own journey. Maybe you agree with this. Sometimes I get these crazy ideas And I'm a quick start. Like I have very little fear when it comes to actually taking action on things initially, at least in the project development. And I will go. Like I am in like going 0 to 100. And that has also derailed me a ton through my journey because shiny objects set in. I've spent all this time. I'm like, wait, I didn't give a nice 360 consideration. So when I had this idea of limited series podcasts, I just watched. I was like, okay, yep, I see you. I parked it in my parking lot idea of ideas, and it just kept coming up. And I think I even reached out initially, and then I was like, hold, like I'm in holding, like stand by. Let me make sure that this is true for me. And I think what solidified it is exactly what you said. What is working for me? What works well for me? When I speak and when I teach, when people hear me, people stay in my world. They want to learn more from me. They come in deep rapport with me. They come into my workshops more. And let's be real, they become my clients. And so then I had to ask myself that question. How do I do more of that in a way that solves a more specific problem? And I keep seeing this same specific problem coming up, which is client acquisition, client getting clients, right? That is, and especially in this world, in this industry, in the saturated market, that is consistently a problem. So I had like the go ahead, the green light in my own brain once I realized that the entire podcast needed to be about this specific problem. So saying all that, you were like, have been like kind of the person whose formula has helped me create and release the limited series podcast that we released last week. Shout out if you haven't gone and listened to it. How to find clients, search for it. Tips for coaches and entrepreneurs. Added that in thanks to Adam and SEO. But can you just speak to like the strategy? Why? And this, if you're listening to this, this is not Adam and I saying go out and record a limited series podcast. It will change your world. It's just we want to talk about the strategies and why we're doing them and how you can do them too. But can you speak a little bit to the limited series podcast kind of strategy and how it works?
Yeah, and I like what you just said, Amanda. Like to everybody listening in, there are too many people out there like us on podcasts going, here's another thing for you to do. Let me just pile this on your plate of things to do. I want you to view this information like you're putting a tool in your toolbox. And when the time is right and there's a job that needs that tool, then we take it out of the toolbox. And that's what Amanda did. She definitely pump faked me. Well, I thought we were in. I thought we were doing it. Did the little head fake, a little like Jokic. You know, she's a hooper. And pump fake me. I'm like, all right, we're doing it. And it's like, no, we got to pause for a second. And now we circle back around. And now she's launched this thing, which I'm super proud of. So this is a tool. This is an idea that I have proven to work. It's worked for my clients. It's going to work for Amanda. I'm 100% sure on that. So when the timing is right, this is something that you could implement. So let's just kind of put that out there first. The other first thing we got to talk about is what is a limited series podcast and what is a private podcast, because those are two common terms and they are very different things in my opinion. So first thing, private podcast, very popular term. Secret podcast, same thing, popular term. Sneaky podcast, I love that.
I've heard secret too, but sneaky podcast was one I was like, oh, okay.
How about a slimy podcast? So a salesy podcast.
Yeah,
so,
well, I've heard those too.
So yeah, 95% of podcasts.
Yeah.
So what we're looking at doing with a private podcast is it is not out on the RSS feed. So it's not searchable. It is not discoverable via SEO. And a lot of people say, hey, you should do a private podcast as a lead magnet. And it's on the other side of an email wall. It's on the other side of a paywall. And that's when you get access to the private podcast. And that is okay. But my issue with this is that the only way you're really going to grow that is by putting money into it and running Facebook ads to whatever, and then people get access to it. And that's going to be an issue for 000 podcast because they don't got any money to spend. And you know, it's like a totally different world. So
totally.
The thing I like about a limited series podcast is that we are leveraging organic discovery and SEO so that people can organically find this, and it still is a lead magnet and it still is a funnel into your business. So now, and bonus, we can still run ads to it if we want to.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to add that.
You can still run ads to it. So it's the best of both worlds. And people who do private podcasts, honestly, they usually aren't podcasters and they just don't understand podcasting SEO and the value of it. Like, why would you shut off this thing that gets you listeners while you
Totally.
sleep, day after day, night after night. Like it just blows my mind. Now, like you've got a membership, I've got a membership. I do like the idea of having a private podcast for a membership as like a little bonus. Like, hey, you get some bonus episodes or whatever. Like that's of value. But as a lead magnet, I think a limited series is a little bit better. Would you
Yeah.
tend to agree? Okay.
Well, I definitely was considering both. Which do I want to do? So for all the reasons you already said is why I said yes. And there's one more, is a really strong core value of mine, is to help 100,000 coaches or 1 million coaches reach 1,000 clients. And so I can't do that alone. I can't do that with my regular podcast. Well, I could over time, but I'm like, how else do I satisfy that mission? And that's by creating content that reaches more people. And I also feel like going this route, I'm going to create greater impact. And so for me, it was just like hands down alignment with the core values. Duh, why would I not use something that's already been working? So yeah, all the reasons. That's why I went limited series podcast with also, which we'll probably talk more about, which you alluded to already, is I'm still going to grow my email list because the workbook, once you listen, you have access to a workbook that's going to guide you, and that is behind an email wall. Obviously, it has to be delivered, and I do want a way to grow for those most interested people that are going to download the workbook.
Yeah. So the way this works, and once we explain it, everybody that's listening will be like, "Oh, this is simple." I'm like, "Yes, this is yet another simple solution provided by Team Adam and Amanda." So somebody has a limited series podcast. We pick one major pain point: how to get clients. Amanda knows that you all like this is like if we can get more clients. If you tell me I'm Amanda wants to tell me to get 1,000 clients, I'm in. Let's go right now. And so we're solving a pain, but we're focusing on one pain point. You don't want to be like how to build your business and also how to create an email list and also how to get clients and also how to do funnels. It's not that. So one pain point for a limited series, really dial in on it. And for me, I usually tell people between 16 and 25 episodes, like 3 episodes, 4 episodes. To me, that's not enough. I want a lot of touch points because each episode, I love including testimonials. I love just feeling like they're going through an audio course for free on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, wherever they enjoy listening, and they're binge listening to these episodes, and you just record them and it's done. This isn't something you do week after week. A lot of people that do this are like, can I turn this into? I'm getting better results with this. Can I turn it into my regular podcast? Sure, you can do whatever you want, but the core concept is you put out your 20-ish episodes. There's a downloadable workbook that follows through with homework for each episode. So now, like Amanda said, people are on our email list and it funnels towards an offer. So we're getting a new podcast listener, we're getting a new email subscriber, and we're funneling towards an offer. And this, if you do the SEO and the organic discoverability correctly, like I launched mine, it's called Podcast Monetization Tips, shout out.
We'll drop it in the show notes.
2.5 years ago. And I still get clients from that on a weekly basis. Like, or I at least am doing discovery calls with people that found that show. I mean, I was on a Zoom chat. I do a free monthly workshop at the end of each month. And someone was like, I'm binging on your limited series right now. That's how I found you. I'm like, it's still working. This is crazy. So yeah, we leverage that SEO and people find that show and they'll find Amanda's show day after day, week after week. And that's a beautiful thing. So I'll put my brakes and you can get
That's
the
so good.
conversation where I want to steer it where you want to go.
Yeah, totally. I think that's the idea, is just to like understand the differences. This is meant to be like quick wins, fast implementation. They don't want to stop listening. And for me, I don't know about you, but no episode in this series is longer than I think 11 minutes and change. So it's meant to be very digestible. It's like, you're giving them, I gave them an action step at every episode. And so you should be able to be through the entire series in 3 hours, or less, really. If you put me on 1.5 or 2, you can probably get it done faster. But I don't want you to do that necessarily. And I want you to do the homework. So the link to the How to Find Clients series, we'll put both links here and you can kind of see how it's done. But the cool thing that I loved about it was, I want to go back and say, it will work. And I also think you have to be super intentional with your own shout out to my framework loving this, but like you have to be clear in your framework that you're going to teach inside the episodes. What I don't want is to listen to somebody rant and not have a clear direction or have really been intentional about how they designed the content to give somebody those quick wins. And I think this goes back to all forms of coaching, because I think sometimes podcasting turns into, let me tell you what I did on Sunday. And for me, I'm like, I don't waste my time in listening to those kind of shows. It's just not my style. Like, I also don't watch, like, you know, smut TV. I don't know what you call it nowadays. Like, I don't watch, I know, don't hate me as you girls are listening to this, but I don't like Real Housewives and those shows. It's just not my jam, but I watch sports all the time. But I want, if something's going to be in my ears, then it needs to really be valuable for me to listen to and to get through. And so I think that's also a really important piece of this is make sure that the problem you're solving, you do a really thorough job and you provide a ton of value inside of it.
Yes. Quick, snackable, digestible. Honestly, a great scenario and one of the use cases is that I implement this strategy. I speak on a lot of stages, or I speak on other people's podcasts, and I'll be up on stage and I'll go, hey, here's your homework. I want you to get your phone. I want you to subscribe to this. I want you to listen to it on your flight home. And people tell me they listen through the whole thing on their flight, and then they'll listen to it again and do the homework a second time. And then they're usually doing discovery calls. And like, that's the next week after I speak on a stage, I know my discovery call calendar will be full because of the fact of the Limited Series podcast.
I love it.
People binge it and they're going to hear 21 different testimonials from my clients. They're going to hear 21 episodes. They get all the calls to action, and it just funnels them right into, let's talk about doing business.
So good. I love it. So I want to talk a little bit about where this series should take them, because I also think that like all well-planned things, it's not just to throw value out, but it's to guide them to a deeper opportunity to work with you. So let's talk about, okay, they listen to the podcast. You want to just speak to that piece, and obviously I can jump in around how we did it or what we were aiming for.
Yeah. So as they listen to the podcast, you kind of alluded to this a second ago, but I want there to be a rhyme and reason with the episodes. Like, it should feel like they're building momentum on a journey, not disjointed lessons of this and then that. That's why we have the workbook that we're referencing. Like, my strategy is the first third of the episodes really referencing, hey, and now go to your workbook. And hey, if you haven't downloaded the workbook yet, you really need to go to your workbook, because that's where the homework's at for implementation. So they should be building momentum and be like, wow, I just did this thing, and now I've got a quick win there. And now let's go to the next episode, the next action step. So the vibe should be, I'm starting to collect wins, I'm starting to collect momentum, and then we start talking about discovery calls or whatever your sales methodology is. For some people, they go straight to like an evergreen discount code or something like that to just kind of make it a little bit less hands-on, because everybody feels differently about sales calls or discovery calls. So we're taking them on this journey where they're building momentum, they're getting a lot of confidence going, and then you're like, hey, now we've achieved so much. Next step is, and the best way to get there, let's talk about doing business together. So there's a huge value add with this thing. This isn't fluff. It's not like, I hate it when people are like, sell the why, or the why is free and the how is what you pay me for. I'm like, I'm giving you a lot of how in this, but if we work together, we're going to how faster, and we're going to how to the next level and the next step. So
Yeah.
give you the how on like a micro jump, step. You're going to get several stepping stones along the pathway with one of these things.
I think that used to work. I give you the why and show you the how. That doesn't work anymore, in my opinion, because they can go how all day on all the AI they want, and it will give them all the how. I mean, that's the reality. Like there's so much information. I think what I try to tell my people, and they've heard this on the podcast so many times, is they're really paying you for proximity, accountability, and implementation. Like, great, Adam, I just heard all the things, but ultimately I have questions about mine. Can you give me some feedback about the title? Like, what do you think about this? And so that's where, because some people will listen to this Limit Series podcast and crush it from just listening. And I am like, perfect. I served my purpose on this earth, which is to support people to collapse the timeline and get them there faster. But there will be a majority of people that get so much value. They want to pick your brain. They want to come closer. And that is the goal. And so you absolutely should have a strong call to action of what the next step is, whether that is your one-to-one coaching or some sort of scalable program or offer. For us, that's our small by offer method. Like, that's what I want to teach you. I want you to listen and then come in and be like, that was so good. Now I want to come in and I want you to actually help me figure out the problem I'm solving. I want you to look at my messaging or whatever the case is. So I think it's really important that you have clarity around, like, where are they going next with that, with certainty.
Yeah. And along the journey, I forgot to mention, this is really important. Like, these are solo episodes. So you're building massive expert positioning. And that's a huge problem for most coaches in the podcasting industry, as they do like interview heavy shows and your audience won't view you as the expert. So this is like an expert positioning bolus, just a sprint of like episode after episode. You're showing off what you're doing. And like, let's say people listen to how to get clients, they get a client. That's not the end of the journey. Now they want more clients, and they will reach out to Amanda going like, what's my next freaking step? Like, this is working. Now my goals have just leveled up. So it naturally creates that curiosity of what is the next step. I get people reaching out to me all the time. They're just like, I've got all this stuff, initial stuff set up, and I'm just ready to go to that next level. What should I do? What do you suggest? So my discovery calls aren't, should we work together? It's how should we work together?
Yeah.
And I love that, because I'm really terrible at sales in general. Like, I am that football player that takes the football 100 yards and then throws it out at the back of the end zone on accident, so.
Whoops, I just dropped it like 1 foot before I crossed.
Yeah, that's me. That's me on a sales call when I'm trying to sell. Like, it's even rough, Amanda, like when people are referrals, like, oh, you got to talk to this person. I'm like, they haven't listened to my show. I'm probably not going to make a sale here. So
I love sales calls. I didn't, but I mean, I don't love doing them anymore. But now it's like, if they're only getting on the phone because they've come through something that they're like, they really know me. So it's like, basically like, well, the cost of everything, it's written on all my websites. Like, why are we talking? Like, tell me what your hang up is. And so then I feel, but I love a good sales call, because I love handling objections, which doesn't sound like is your favorite thing.
The Wolf of Wall Street, Amanda Walker. The Wolf of Walker Street.
What's so funny, though, is I've definitely cried on my office floor from no's on sales calls. So, we've come a long way. It's a growth for sure.
Well done.
I want to speak to something that I would not have added into my series had I not kind of, asked you questions and followed your methodology, and that's audio testimonials. I thought that was it's aligned in what I teach, but I had a total block around I didn't even, just wouldn't have even come into my brain. And so as you listen to the series, you're going to hear, most of the episodes are sprinkled in with audio testimonials, which I think is such a cool touch, because it's just proof of the method that's being taught. And I definitely would encourage anyone to weave that social proof, that credibility and authority into, like, there are already people having results doing this. Like, you are next. That's really what it says.
Yeah. The social proof is crazy. And if you do use the audio testimonials, it's intimate, because imagine somebody flying on a plane or driving home from an event, and they saw me on stage, and then I kind of do my Adam thing, get them all fired up. Hey, go listen to this. And they're like, in their body, in their ears, they're hearing me teach, but they're also hearing other people brag about working with me and the results that they've gotten. And the thing is, they don't listen to one episode and then take a break for the day. It's like, I listened to 7 episodes or 20 episodes on my drive home, and it's just that bolus. They heard 20 different people brag about working with me. That's powerful when it comes to, again, that quick sale. And honestly, one of my favorite stories to tell about my limited series podcast, I don't know if I've even told you this, but this is crazy. So I made my show live on like a Thursday, my limited series. And I didn't start telling anybody about it for 10 days, because I kind of wanted to just see what happened, like SEO wise. By Tuesday, I had already sold, I think, over $6,000 worth of stuff.
Send that good juju right on over here.
Yeah. And I didn't tell anybody. And they were just, from Thursday to Tuesday, enough people were binge listening and buying from the show. Like, it blew me away. And then I started having people pop on discovery calls and they're like, yeah, I discovered you from your show. And I'd be like, which show? And they're like, podcast monetization tips. I don't even know about this other show that you've done 500 episodes of. I'm like, what's happening?
I know, crazy.
So it's really wild. And it works extremely well. They're like, yeah, one person spent, $2,000+ with me. And she's like, I listened to it twice and I'm just kind of ready to go. I want to talk to you to make sure I was in the right offer and all this. I'm like, yeah, let's go. So yeah, that was, that's the potential. Obviously that won't happen for everybody, but that happened to me and it's pretty cool.
I love that so much. As you share that too, what comes up is the difference between a traditional podcast, right? Is we're releasing episodes consistently every week. And so our subscribers are waiting for and know there's going to be this new episode that pops in, right? And so we have this built-in retention, I guess, in listenership, assuming we're doing a good job and we're keeping new listeners and they're not falling off. The difference in this limited series podcast, from my perspective, obviously I haven't done this for very long, is the thing that's in the back of my mind, though, is I have to keep making sure that it's top of mind to new people that come into my world, that it's available to them, right? Which is hopefully, SEO is going to do its job, but, a small call to action in the traditional podcast, but also weaving it into nurture sequences from other areas, and making sure that people know that it exists. So I just don't want, as you're listening, for you to think, oh, I'm going to set it and forget it. I mean, there's an element of that, but like all things in business, nothing's truly passive, right? We should be looking at the metrics. We should be recording, and watching metrics that are coming for this in order for it to keep doing work for you. Would you agree to that?
Yeah. Yeah. And kind of there's different ways to kind of keep it alive too and keep getting eyeballs on it. And the fact that you mentioned like nurture sequences, your welcome email, somebody subscribes to your list. This is a resource to put in front of them. Speaking on stages, other people's podcasts, any way you would use a traditional lead magnet, this may be even a better option.
Yes.
Because, people are so sensitive now, not only to being sold to, but even asking for their email address. Like that's like, we're nervous about that sometimes and people get sensitive about that. So you don't even have to ask them for their email address with a limited series podcast because the podcast does that for you with the workbook. So just go get this. There's 21 episodes. You're already listening to this episode. Go listen to that next. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button and you're good to go. It's just a really, really easy ask. Doing like promo swaps. You can use it in a variety of ways and then still running ads, whether it's Facebook or Instagram ads, but also podcast player ad, banner ads. I'll just run some ads to that. And it's a funnel. I'll pay $250 on Overcast FM, get 100 new subscribers to that limited series, and people will go through the funnel and come out the other side as paying clients every single time. And I'm getting a major ROI on that because I'm making way more than $250 that I spent on the ad.
Yeah, I'm so excited because podcast ads are still something I haven't dabbled in. Knowing though this is coming, like this is definitely a direction I'm excited to play in and see differently, because I think it's definitely, like you say, like very overlooked option if you're a podcaster.
Yeah. And the cool thing too is that the way podcasts work and podcast players like Apple and Spotify work, when you generate activity, that elevates your SEO and organic discovery power. So even though I haven't released a new episode of this show in 2.5 years, I run an ad to it or I speak on stage and drive traffic to it. That's activity. So now my SEO value comes back up again. And now people are searching and my show's popping up again. So it keeps it alive.
Relevance.
Yep.
Yeah, it's so good. What would you, as we bring it kind of home here, so somebody's listened to this episode, like, okay, I'm curious. What would be one thing that you would say, like, do your homework on before just taking this and going like, I got to do this because Amanda and Adam said it was awesome. We're bringing this to you to expose you to something different than the traditional 10-step guide or whatever. And not that those are bad. They're great and they have their place 1,000,000%. But what would you say to somebody considering, like, what's their homework?
So one thing to consider is this may not be for you if you have never done a podcast before. Some people are like, oh, this could be my first podcast. I'm like, you could do that, but it may not be what you expect it to be. So that's something just to consider. That won't be for everybody, but that's something to consider. I think it's important that you kind of know where you want to take this from a business perspective. Like, okay, if people decide to work with me, where is this going? So like with Amanda, small bite offer. With me, it's my listener client conversion program. So where is that going? What pain point is that solving? So that kind of works backwards. And we go, okay, this is the major pain point. If I was going to create an audio course on this pain point, what are the 16 to 25 lessons that I would need to teach this person to help start solving that pain point that makes him like, ooh, I'm ready for the next step, which is the offer. So I kind of would build backwards from that a little bit and just make sure you're following the protocol with the testimonials, short episodes, delivering value. I mean, deliver value as if they're paying you. That's the rule. That's the simple rule. Give me 20 episodes, 10 minutes, deliver value as if I'm paying you. This will go well.
Yeah, it's so good. I think that anytime, deliver tremendous value, and that just becomes who you are in your brand, no matter if it's paid or free. Like, I just think that's who you become, and that's where people know, like, man, I step into their world and I like absorb shifting, right? And that's exactly, I think, how we're both, intentional in that way, and it has proven to be so, fruitful over time for sure.
That's
I love that.
Pals.
Yes. Tell us where you mentioned, obviously I mentioned Podcasting Business School, which is your weekly podcast. Want to say again, your limited series podcast and where you're hanging out, which is not Instagram anymore, but where can they connect with you?
Yeah. So my limited series podcast is called Podcast Monetization Tips for coaches, consultants, and service providers. That's probably you. And yeah, I'm obsessed with the Threads app right now. You can follow me on Instagram. I post some things on there, but I'm Threads first. I post, here's my schedule. All right. Every Tuesday until the day I die, I'm posting a podcast episode. So that's coming out, Podcasting Business School. Every Thursday, you're going to get a Podcasting Business School newsletter. It is completely independently valuable from the podcast episode, different topic every single week. And then 3 to 8 times a day, you're getting podcasting tips from me on Threads. And I would just have to say, Threads is text-based, and I can create 8 Threads posts a day in the time it takes me to create one half of an Instagram reel. Just saying. So I'm loving it.
I'm working on it. I'm really inconsistent. Like, it's like, I'm all in. And then I'm like, I can't keep up. What's happening here? I haven't found my flow, but I'm hoping you're going to be a solution for that. As I'm diving in. So Adam also dropped a new Threads course for podcasters. And so I'm excited to learn your methodology, because maybe it's going to stick to my brain a little bit more as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun place to be. And, I'm small bite offering all over the place here. I'm learning from you, and then it's coming back at you. It's like a boomerang. You teach me how a small bite offer. My small bite offers are coming right back at you. You're plugging into that. It's crazy.
Winning all around. I love it. So powerful. Well, thank you so much for just sharing kind of the whole idea, just dropping all the knowledge, podcasting bombs on my people, and everything that he shared, of course, is in the show notes. And yeah, I'm just so grateful for your time.
Well, thank you, everybody listening. If you're new to this ecosystem, I'll just tell you, you're in the right place. Like, just plug in, binge listen to Amanda's stuff, whether it's this show, the limited series. It's all just super high quality. I can't recommend this brand, this coach highly enough. It's awesome.
I appreciate you so much.